Introducing Penn Assurance Software, the OIPA Debugger, your first run. Typically, you want to debug a transaction you're working on in the palette. The first step is to download and configure the Penn Assurance Software Debugger client. Open your browser and navigate to oipa.pennassurancesoftware.com. Click on the OIPA Debugger link at the top. Click the Download OIPA Debugger Client link to download the client. When the client appears, there will be 3 fields that must be configured. You will need to set the OIPA URL and the user and password of the user that will execute the activity. Next, you will need a test policy with a pending activity of the transaction you want to debug. Once you have your test policy, you'll need to get the activity GUID of the pending activity. Copy the policy number from the OIPA webpage. Open your policy activity SQL query in your database query tool. This query will reproduce the activity list you see on the OIPA webpage. Find your pending activity row in the results of your query tool. The last column of the row is the activity GUID of the pending activity you want to debug. Copy it to your clipboard. Navigate back to the Penn Assurance Software Debugger. Paste the activity GUID into the activity GUID field of the debugger. Click the Run button. XML will appear in the large edit box of the debugger window. This XML is a line-by-line trace of the transaction you are debugging. If you compare the debugger output to the transaction XML, you will see a line-by-line correlation between the two. Variables will be shown in the debugger XML each time they are assigned in the transaction math. That concludes your first run of the Penn Assurance Software OIPA Debugger.